Hello world, Shelly here, and we are going to wrap up the best of 2018 with the most insane amount of products sitting in front of me. It's going to be a miracle if I do not knock things off of my vanity and break everything. But today I want to go through my favorite new to me brands of the year. I didn't go back and make sure that I've looked at every single brand that was new to me this year. I just picked the ones that came to my head first, and then I will go through my favorite eyeshadow palettes of the year, and then just the favorite makeup, the number one of every sort of category. And that will wrap up our best of. So first off, let's just talk about brands. And I want to mention first, I'm going to drop things. This is going to be a mess, you guys. I want to mention some indie brands. This is the Dalton and the Osmosis. I've recently reviewed these foundations, and I haven't had a lot of experience with them, so it's tough to say they're my favorites of the year, but these are two brands that I had really good performance with right out of the gate. I liked what the companies were about, and I'm definitely going to try more products from both of these brands. And it really just kind of reminded me that I need to pay attention to indie brands because there's some really great stuff out there, and just because the mainstream isn't talking about them all the time doesn't mean they're not great. And I think you miss out on some things if you don't pay attention to the smaller companies. So I like supporting small companies. There are a lot of women-owned companies out there as well that are indie brands that I would like to support, and these are two that I am going to check more stuff out in 2019 from both of them. Next, I want to shout out to Adept Cosmetics. They make my favorite magnetic palettes in the world. They make the most sturdy magnetic eyeshadow palettes. These are sturdy, they are strong, they hold your product in, your stuff's not going to fall out because the magnet's not strong enough. They are fantastic, but even more so, they're awesome people behind the brand, and that really makes an impact on me when the people behind the brand are authentic and hardworking and genuine people, and their customer service is excellent. That's something I can get behind. So if you like single eyeshadows or you're depotting your palettes, I am not brave enough to depot most of my palettes, but I do buy a lot of single shadows. Check out the Adept palettes. They are fantastic. I will link them down below, and they're just a great company. They got great people behind the scenes. Next, I want to give a shout out to a couple of the smaller indie dupe companies that are out there. I will have one of my favorite eyeshadows palettes from Bad Habit in my favorites. The other one I want to shout out is C-Color Cosmetics. I discovered them recently on Amazon. I'm absolutely loving, especially their eyeshadow palettes. They are duping out some really, really good palettes they're putting out. So I'm wearing a look right now that was done with this one, a dupe for the Jeffree Star Androgyny palette. But, you know, I will link down below my thoughts on dupe companies and why I will purchase products made by these, dupe companies. Yes, I am a creator. Yes, I believe in intellectual property. No, they are not breaking the law, and that is part of my reason why I'm not opposed to it. If the laws change, then so be it. Then I would not support this, but they're not breaking the law, and if you really want change, then you need to change the laws that make it okay to do this. But also, who walks into Aldi and gets mad that there's a fake shredded wheat on the shelf? I think there's a double standard when it comes to makeup versus other products. And anyway, I'm going to stop right there because that's going to take me off into a tangent that I'll be talking for an hour. But I will link my blog post down below on why I don't have a problem with purchasing and supporting these dupe brands. I am thoroughly enjoying both C-Color and Bad Habit. I think they both get a shout out. Bad Habit's available on Hush. C-Color is on Amazon. And thumbs up to making some good, affordable dupes for those that either can't afford the high-end versions of these palettes or choose not to support the creators of those palettes for whatever reason. And good stuff. The next is a high-end, really it's two high-end brands because I'm thoroughly enjoying them. They'll be in my eyeshadow favorites, Kevyn Aucoin and Natasha Denona. Good stuff, especially the eyeshadows, although I've got a couple face products from Kevyn Aucoin as well that ever since I watched the documentary film, the more recent one on Kevyn Aucoin's life, I have just been in love with him. He's no longer with us, of course, but I will try to link that documentary down below as well if you haven't seen it. It just gave me a whole different appreciation. I remember him from the 80s and the 90s, but I wasn't as into makeup at that time, so it didn't impact me. It's more of like looking back on that time in my life and seeing how this all came to fruition. Anyway, again, I could talk on that for an hour as well, but I will link that down below. Of course, if you've been around for a minute, you know that the number one thing that has impacted my wallet and my makeup collection this year, Pat McGrath. I'm obsessed with everything Pat McGrath. The lipsticks are fantastic. The lip glosses blow my mind. The eyeshadows, like, can't even handle how good the eyeshadows are. Amazing, beautiful formula. So those are the brands I have kind of grown to love this year in 2018. Let's get into the eyeshadow palettes before this video is 5 hours long. It's going to be a long one, you guys. I've got 8 palettes here. I'm sorry I could not settle it down to 5. In the 8th spot, from C Color Cosmetics, it is the Dope palette. This is duping out the Laura Lee Cosmetics. What the heck is the name of that palette? Super beautiful neutrals, impactful shimmers, easy to blend mattes. This has been a go-to, especially on work days when I just need to get out the door really quick with a nice basic eye look. Also from the dupes, you can get Bad Habit on Hush. This is the Retro Love eyeshadow palette. I have a tutorial using this palette. This is a dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills Subculture palette, which my Subculture palette wasn't terrible. It's wearable. I didn't have a lot of the problems that a lot of people had when that palette came out, but this is just so easy to use. It's the same color story. So easy to use. None of the trouble or hassle of the more complicated, super pigmented mattes that came in the Subculture palette. Totally. If you want that color story, get the Retro Love palette, because this is one of my favorites. I love this color scheme and I love this palette. In 6th place, Natasha Denona. This is the Lila palette. The thing with Natasha Denona, oh, look how pretty though. Purples, pinks, it's so in my wheelhouse. So pretty. Here's the thing with Natasha Denona's eyeshadows. I have the Safari palette, I have this, I have the Mini Lila palette, I have another one of the mini palettes, I have the Gold palette, I have a lot of her eyeshadow palettes, and do any of them knock me off my feet the way a Pat McGrath palette does? Formula-wise, no. Color story-wise, they're brilliant. And formula-wise, there's some of the... Things are falling. I told you things were going to start falling, you guys. Formula-wise, the Natasha Denona shadows are some of the best shadows in my collection. I would say they are more pigmented and easy to blend than Urban Decay, which Urban Decay is one of my favorite formulas. Like, they're like a step above the Urban Decay. They're not quite a Pat McGrath. But I do love the formula. I think they are really easy to use. Do you need to go out and buy? I mean, this is like $125. No, nobody needs to spend this kind of money on an eyeshadow palette. Can you get a beautiful look out of a dupe palette? Yes, absolutely. So don't take this as you need to run out and buy expensive eyeshadow, because you could... I love everything. If it works, it works. I just like bougie stuff. Like, I'm just like high-end stuff. I enjoy the beautiful packaging, the stitching. This is actually stitched in. This is not fake. It's like stitched into the cover, and I enjoy the experience. I'm an Apple product user. Like, I'm one of them. So I enjoy a good product experience. You do not have to spend this kind of money to get quality eyeshadows. Don't think you have to, but pretty much I do it. So this one, thoroughly enjoy this color story. Love the packaging. Love her shadows. Next is probably my favorite, like, travel palette all time. Do it all color scheme. It is the Urban Decay Born to Run. Also, the mirror in here is huge and wonderful. How do I show this to you without making a mess? Love the color story here. You can do neutral. You can do basic. You can do nighttime, smoky eye, bold, colorful. You can get just about everything out of this palette, which is why I love it for travel. It's also really sturdy. It's a nice plastic. It is a magnetic closure, but it's solid. It's not cardboard. It's not bendy. You can put this in your suitcase and not worry that it's going to get crushed. And thumbs up for an all-purpose, all-around beautiful palette. They are one of my favorite formulas. I love Urban Decay's eyeshadows. Another formula I love. I have a bunch of Lorac palettes. You can see I have all the Pro and the Mega Pro palettes. My favorite of them all, if you can ever get your hands on this, I don't know if it's still available. If it is, I'll link it down below, but it's the Mega Pro 2. It's kind of more on the cool toned side of the fence, and definitely more on the neutral side, though you can get, you know, more bold, darker nighttime looks out of it. You're not going to have super, super duper colorful stuff going on. None of the Lorac stuff is meant to be like, you know, it's a different vibe than, say, a Pat McGrath. They're not going for drama. They're going for really nice, pretty wearable looks. But when you want a really pretty, nice wearable look, love these shadows. They're some of the easiest shadows to work with of all. And I think one of the reasons is that it's so consistent. Every single one of their palettes is almost exactly the same in the formula. You don't have one that's more dry and one that's, you know, more patchy, more like they're all the same. It's so reliable. And this is just a great color story. You can see mine's all dinged up. I've traveled with this a lot. This is another one that I throw in my travel bag. It's cardboard, so like when it does get crushed, you can damage your palette. Nothing, thank goodness, has happened to mine yet to hurt the product on the inside, but I take this with me a lot because it's just very Swiss Army knife kind of all-purpose. In third place, the BH Zodiac palette. This one is so much fun and it's so pretty. And BH Cosmetics makes some of the best blendable and shimmery, beautiful shadows at a really reasonable price point. This one has mattes and shimmers that will take you throughout the spectrum. Again, you can go totally neutral, you can go simple, you can go pretty bold in terms of color scheme. Nothing super out there, but you got lots of variety here, and the formula is just fantastic. In second place, and the only, so second place and first place could be tied, and I picked two for second place from Pat McGrath, though really everything Pat McGrath could be equally loved. These are the two color stories that I think I like the best out of the large mothership palettes. The most recent one, the Bronze Seduction number 5, is so pretty. And the thing, you know, I can't go swatch all these. It would take forever. But the thing I love about some of the shimmers, especially in the Pat McGrath line, is that they have the most beautiful, unexpected color shifts and the prettiest micro glitters that don't give you fallout all over your face. They're just otherworldly, like alien levels of beautiful. And the other one that I love in terms of the color story is number 2, Sublime. It's got these like rose shades and just, they're so pretty. And it's going to last me forever because I've used this so at least a dozen times and you can't even tell. Pat McGrath, I love you. Number 1 is only being called number 1 really because the color story is the absolute perfect everyday palette for me. It's a Kevyn Aucoin. It's a limited edition nude pop. Go get it if you don't have it yet. It is still available. And I love me some cool tones. And girl, these are my colors. These are my favorite colors to wear. So easy to blend out. So beautiful, the shimmers. This is just such, this is like if I could have chosen my best color palette, like this would have been it, and the formula is fantastic. So let's just keep rolling all that happy into my favorite makeup of the year. And if you've been watching me for a while, these are the products you see over and over and over and over and over again that I just use in so many of my videos, especially in foundation videos where I want reliable products I'm very familiar with. So let's do face products first. I'm gonna go foundation first. And when I'm off camera and I just want a really, really, really pretty makeup day, the ones I reach for all the time, okay, I'm going to give honorable mention to the Revlon Candid, the Photo Ready Candid. I didn't pull it out of my drawer, but I do reach for that one a lot. Ilia True Skin Serum Foundation. This is just so pretty and so fast and easy to work with. And the Lancome Renergy Lift, I need to get a lighter shade in this because now that I've been thinking about it, I'm really sad that these are all too dark for me. I have 2 shades. They're both too dark for me in the winter, but it's so pretty. They're just really easy to wear, and I've been into a dewy complexion this year after really hating a dewy complexion for several years. Now I'm suddenly in love with a dewy complexion. So I don't know what happened, but Those two work really well. Speaking of dewy complexions, this is like Holy Grail level. Very few products make it Holy Grail level because it takes a lot for me to love something that much. And the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Finish, so good. This is still my first bottle. This is Fair 1. I also have the shade 2 for summertime, and it's pretty when I'm doing no makeup days and I just want a little bit of glow, and it does kind of give you like a blur filter effect. It's pretty as a highlight over a foundation. It's pretty as a primer under foundation. I use this so many ways. It works really well for the reverse foundation sort of trick. Love this stuff. Probably could not live without it. Literally could not live. Okay, not literally. Face powder, we are talking Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish. This knocked out, if you guys have been around since the OG days, my previous favorite was the Laura Geller Baked Balance and Brighten in Porcelain. I still love this stuff, but I reach for this one all the time. This is really great as setting powder for my foundation. I know it is a foundation on its own, but this helps especially when my skin looks really flat and kind of like just not good in tone. If the tone of a foundation's slightly off, I'll grab this one. But this one really does give like an airbrushed, smooth finish that I just absolutely love. I have this in shade 1 Fair. So pretty. Also from Charlotte Tilbury, favorite concealer of life. I never thought I would finally find a favorite concealer of life. That sentence was all messed up. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away Concealer. Shade 2 Fair is the one that works best for me. Shade 1 is a little too light and a little too yellow undertoned for me. I am more of a cool pink undertone, but shade 2 works very well. I wish it was just a smidge lighter for winter shade for me, but the best way I can think to describe this, and I think I'm stealing this from Wayne Goss, is that it almost applies like spandex under your eyes. It smooths everything out and then like locks into place. It doesn't crease. It doesn't get crepey. It moves with your skin in just a weird way, like spandex, kind of. I love this stuff. I'm almost out of it. Sephora's been out of my shade forever, and I need more. Blush, also Charlotte Tilbury. It's been a year of like buying bougie stuff is what happened. It's the nipple blush. I don't remember which one of you originally said that in the comments, but ever since you said that to me, I can't unsee it. It's the nipple blush. Okay, what's the real name? It is the Cheek to Chic, and this is Pillow Talk, which I think was limited edition. I'm not sure if you can get it, but I love it. It's like the perfect shade for any skin tone. I feel like could work with this, and I just use a very light hand because it's a little bit of a bolder dark shade, and I like a very light blush, but this stuff is super easy to blend. It's got a little bit of a sheen if you use the center. It's got no sheen. It's just matte if you use the outer ring. You combine them and it's just a nice subtle sheen. Super pretty. My favorite bronzer of the year, definitely the Balm Desert. It's because it's got like a cool red undertone. When you're super fair skin, you know, the idea of bronzer is you're supposed to have the look that the sun has kind of kissed you. You've been out in the sun and gotten a little bronzy. And when you're fair skinned, when you go out in the sun, your skin generally doesn't turn tan or brown. It usually turns red or flushed like pink. And so having a red undertone to a bronzer is just really flattering on fair skin, and it's really hard to find. Not a lot of them have a red undertone. Most go for a more yellow, warm, orangish undertone. I like this one because it's more of a red undertone, and it's very pretty and very blendable. My favorite highlighter of life. Oh, it's going to be tough for anyone to knock this out. Natasha Denona Super Glow. This is in the shade 1 Fair. I've used this 5 gazillion times, and you can't even tell. Like, that's how much product is in here. It's going to last forever. It is to die for gorgeous. I will give a shout out, honorable mention to the Wet n Wild Zodiac in Air. That's what I'm wearing today. This stuff is just beautiful and very reasonably priced. This stuff makes your skin look like glass though. It's like kind of like the shiny packaging. It makes your skin just, it's not a wet look, it looks like shiny glass. It's so pretty. I have a favorite eye product from Marc Jacobs. This is the Sequins Glitter Eyeshadow Pots. I have 5 of these now. I think my favorite shade is this Topaz Flash. These are beautiful glitter shadows. They don't have a lot of fallout. They are super sparkly pretty, like next level kind of pretty. Definitely love these. I will have all the colors. I'm in buy them one at a time mode because I think they're $28 a piece. They are not inexpensive, but they're pretty. My favorite setting sprays, I've been going between these two. The Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist, because it smells so nice and it's like a luxurious feeling putting it on. And the really, really pretty and inexpensive Catrice Prime and Fine. This is the Dewy Glow Fixing Spray. They're both gorgeous. They both have a dewy finish to them, but they don't make you look shiny. Like, you look pretty and plumped skin and fresh-faced, but not oily or shiny. Thumbs up on them both. I did not grab lip products. I have my trusty Pat McGrath that I'm wearing today sitting right here. This is in the shade Unfaithful. The Pat McGrath lip glosses, fantastic. The Urban Decay lip glosses that came out this year, the Hi-Fi Shine, fantastic. Love all of the Pat McGrath. I've purchased so many Pat McGrath lipsticks this year. It's been just ridiculous. The Milani Amore Shines were in my favorite lip products. Like, I reach for them constantly. The Essence Water Kiss glossy lip products, those are definite favorites of the year. I probably should have grabbed a whole bunch of lip products, but I didn't. So there you have a few of the ones that I absolutely loved this year, and that's going to wrap up my best of 2018. All of my favorite things. Yeah, what have you guys been loving? Let me know down in the comments below. What did I miss? What do I need to pick up? What do I need to try? Let me know down below. And as always, thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. Come back every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time for new videos. And I hope you all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.